This is your weekend market recap for Saturday, June 3rd, 2023. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your weekend market review for Saturday, June 3rd, 2023. Another interesting week in the market, as usual. The volatility, new fund flows, all sorts of stuff that are worth getting deep into. If you have any questions, as always, please reach out. Let's get into it. So, again, one of the things we've talked about with AI, the Google searches, the topping action that is created by blow-off tops. I'm about 99% sure the SMH AI names are blowing off. And then what I mean by that, going their highs. They hit their highs. They're probably going to make lower highs. They had vertical straight line moves. Some might retest. The odds of retesting, say for NVIDIA, maybe even AMD, SMH at this point, don't look strong. A lot of people don't like to hear that, but that's the thing. That's why it's so hard when you're trading, and the more you're up, the more profits you have to take, because there comes a point where the vertical straight line moves are incredibly dangerous. They're not sustainable, and they actually bring out the exhaustion move, which leaves only sellers potentially, because again, think about smart money unloading into it, and then they have no reason to support the price. And once they're done unloading, it's very obvious where things will go. Next week, pretty light week of data. Probably nothing too much going on until the following week. We have the FOMC meeting on the Wednesday. Again, just be patient. I think, again, I've had in my mind that this June kind of Fed now coin stuff, man, people are pulling money out of their bank accounts. All sorts of crazy stuff is going on. The credit crunch within the system. But here's the thing about the market, the flows that this week were, there was such what I would consider like, low, the liquidity was drying up, that all it took was fund flows to come in as strong as they did to push markets into what I would consider, an extreme measure. And then you look at what's caught up on Friday. Well, all the names that have been lagging, the last thing to pop is the rest of the market. Essentially there's 10 names that were leading the market. Now a little bit of fund flow catch up and SPY and everything, but notice leadership is weakening. We'll talk about it. New to the channel, follow on Twitter, I appreciate it. New to YouTube channel, again, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We do a lot of live reviews. We're going to talk during the market hours. If you have questions, again, go to thetradingagent.com. Again, back to basics series. This page is from more beginner to advanced stuff. If you have any questions about the Marcus referral code, please let me know. 5.15% for 3 months. Every code you share with someone else who signs up, you get to another 3 months. The thing about this account is I feel it's very secure. Working with Goldman, the app is amazing. Love the app. And then again, it's one of those things where, say you sign up and you get 5.15%, but next week they raise rates competitively to 5.5. They will give you that. They don't just lock you in. They also have great CD rates. Again, it's a very simple place to park money. If you're worried about the FDIC insurance under $250,000, know where to park your money. I promise you, it's very important. All right, Fed Watch tool. We vacillated between a rate hike and pause. The data just continues to weaken, even though the jobs data was strong. It's kind of, again, household surveys versus business surveys. It's pretty wild, the big divergence between the two. And at this point, it looks like there's going to be a pause. Could there be a rate hike? I mean, it's kind of, we'll know more next week. Bitcoin, we talked about this chopping at the top. It's kind of like gold and all these names. I don't think they have much room to the upside if the dollar is going to be strengthening. Oil. Well, we've talked about oil pretty much, nailed this one. We said it's going to be choppy and look for OPEC to cut more. I was seeing headlines over the weekend that they're talking about cutting another 1 million barrels of supply. Sorry, I don't want to blame Biden, but, sorry, America. Refilling the SPR is not going to be as cheap as you think unless you start doing it domestically. Natural gas, we've talked about being in a choppy, sloppy range. I still believe I don't know why it's going further back, when it'll be the time to buy commodities when you get the pivot. I don't think we're at the pivot point yet. All right, the dollar, pretty wild action. I mean, I know there's a lot of skewed bids here and ask, but here you go. Gap down, close at the high 200-day. I think the dollar's going higher. It seems to be channeling up. Would not be surprised at some point going into the Fed meeting, we're into the 29 level. I thought dollar going higher would pull the market down. Clearly not yet. TLT, again, we're talking about bond volatility. Seems to be chopping in a range. Man, it looks like a left-right combo there. Higher rates coming. Again, how will the market interpret such? It's tough to know. The VIX, I mean, I'm impressed. And you got to call it what it is. Very impressive. How the hell they got this thing down into the 14s with everything that's going on in the world? Grand kudos to the jabrones that have done that. Keep an eye out, though. We are at the channel lows. I don't think there's much more downside. If you are loading calls and going all in long the market, good luck. The VIVIX, again, broke below channel. Holding support, interesting, because again, it was holding up, looking like the market was going to go. This is why it's been so confusing. People are like, oh, I was trading around positions doing really well, and it just got difficult. Yeah, the market does that. SPY went nuts on Friday. New money, new fund flows. Is this a novice gap trap? Just like you had in February? We'll see. I mean, if you look at the weekly now, you're really coming, or sorry, the monthly now, you're really coming into what I thought the 20-month would be resistance. But here's the 0.618. 0.618 around 428. Keep that in mind. Here, I'll redraw this. All the fibs so you can see it clearly. Just keep it in mind. We're coming into 0.618. Could we blow off above it temporarily? Absolutely. I don't think we're going to be able to get over this level though. Sorry, let me zoom this in. Give me this box. Box of joy. Give me 2 seconds. I apologize. I thought I had this drawn. You always have these drawing issues, right? Because you got so much. Why can't it give me the box? People watching this are going, are you an idiot? I feel like one here. Okay, well, this is just it. I'm gonna have to open it up and make it really silly. Whatever. You see the levels. I'm not moving on. I'm moving on. Could we get up? Can't. Maybe I'll just pull this box over. Yeah, are we going to break out? It's tough to say. This is going to be the next zone of importance. We're into it. And it feels like the novice gap trap. And I know a lot of people on the Discord room, hopefully we'll tell this to other people who aren't watching the videos in Discord room. Watch this area. 0.618 and previous support resistance. Keep an eye on it. QQQ. Getting a little more tired up here. We've talked about the zones that we're in to the left. Very important. Obviously, you can see that. Don't need to drag it over. I mean, if you want to. I mean, it's interesting because, again, I have the monthly up. We're just slightly over the 0.618 just on the monthly. On the whole move retrace. Just keep an eye on it. Could we go higher? Could we fill this gap? I mean, I don't know. Anything is possible, but tech was definitely lagging on Friday. Big green candle in the SPY and IWM lagging the other ones. And new money, new month. Interesting candle here, right? Remember February 2nd, you had the same kind of thing, big green, and then now we have filled the gap. Keep that in mind. We're at some interesting levels. IWM finally catching up, or was this just like the blow-off move? It's tough to know. Again, define your risk. Be smart. Define your risk, please. DIA coming back into the range we've talked about. Like, it just seems to be holding the 320s, getting stuck up here in the 340s. Can it get over it? Good question. GL Dizzle. Talked about laying off gold. Talked about oversold bounce. There you go. Oh, it's like, where's the volume? Yeah, just keep an eye on it. 100-day has to hold. Silver, it's all relative. Talked about oversold bounce. Watch this area. I mean, I personally, again, have said about the miners, materials, names, like letting everything kind of play out. Talked about the oversold bounce again. Here you go. GDX, same thing. GDXJ, which has been lagging because, again, these things lead down. And the GDX had a double top, gold double top, lower highs, lower lows. 20-day couldn't even get over it. We'll see what happens. I'd watch that. AG, talked about this one lagging constantly. Of course, they're due to bounce. We talked about this. AEM, same thing. Hit the 200-day, maybe the 100-day. I mean, all these names look pretty bad, but they were due to bounce. Newmont, I got a little bit of volume down here. Takes out the lows, but again, this thing has just been lagging like beyond repair in my position. And not beyond repair, meaning like beyond even worrying about it right now. PAAS, same thing. Just Leave it alone. Let's get into Tecker. AMD. Again, here we go talking about blow-off tops. I doubt we're going to get into that. Big gap, exhaustion, big volume, distribution. Look at the, you look at the weeklies. Let me pull up some of these. You don't even, I can just tell you. It looks like a outside, not even outside, just a blow-off. Keep an eye on it. I doubt we're going to be making new highs. All of these names are just, they got silly stupid. NVIDIA, same thing, blow-off. We talked about this being a novice gap trap on earnings. Chopping around, big upgrades. People are unloading into it, but retail doesn't want to hear this. Micron, same thing. Blows out to the upside, big gap down. Now it's stuck. All these names look very similar. Because keep in mind, even with AI, there's just a glut of chips. It doesn't matter in time. Again, people don't understand. If commodities and higher interest rates are not good for tech. I'm just telling you. Just telling you. Look at this gap up on Taiwan Semi. Gaps down, chopping. Looks stuck. Intel played catch up, even though it's been just trash. Look where it hit. Again, look at all the fund flows come in, buying this stuff, and then guess who unloaded into it? Market makers. SMH, same kind of thing. Blow off top. Are we really going to make new highs? I doubt it. Again, the straight line moves. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. Okay? If you're not aware of how this works, you better be careful. Adobe. This thing went on a nice little run. This one looks better because it's more oversold, rallying. Some of these names could pop back. Apple making new all-time highs. Are we kidding? This is a joke, right? Doji on a Friday. Decent volume up here going into their AI stuff. Keep an eye on it. Amazon trading at whatever 1,000 times, no, 300 times PE. Nice little novice gap trap. Keep an eye on that. CRM, blew out with earnings up and then gaps down on earnings. The run up, then gap down. These names, at worst, they got to take a break. Guggenheim, again, hits its projected moves up in the 120s. Getting tired. Could be basing to go higher. Keep an eye on it. Meta, this has been incredibly frustrating. Makes no sense to me who would be buying this. Just because they say AI 5,000 times doesn't mean the company's worth the crap. Go look at the monthly. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight months of up. I thought that was dangerous. Thought that could be the top. Jeez, look at this stupid gap up on, I think that was earnings. And it's like, all right, still going. Just be careful stepping in front of that one. Microsoft hitting some gaps, filling some gaps back towards the highs. Keep an eye on this. Looks very distributive up here. Some of these names are starting to look tired. NDAQ, we've talked about how the NASDAQ composite volumes will die in time. Nice little rally back, fill the gap, 100-day, whatever. MicroStrategy, chopping around. Why? Well, Bitcoin's chopping. It kind of looks like dead money. I don't know if I'd really participate. Netflix, this went stupid, right? Getting into some levels. If you go zoom out, look at the monthly, you're at the 50-month, 200-week, all sorts of things up here. Remember, high volume highs, high volume lows, love to retest. That's an interesting area in this candle. Again, pick and choose your moments wisely, have stops. Do not sit here and go, again, that they can go up also too. Like, take some money if you're long. Roblox, double top, chopping. Look at that engulfing down. Doesn't look strong. Tesla, I know a lot of people want to short this. They're going to Shanghai. Taking out the range highs. A lot of people are getting bullish this. And it's like they weren't bullish down here. And they weren't down here. Again, zoom out. I would watch this area. It seems like it would be resistance. But, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8. 14 out of 16 days bullish. Keep an eye on it. Materials finally did a little catch up on a Friday with new money. Look at this gap up. But even still, X just sold. Nucor, not surprised. Again, gap up, coming in. These things were oversold. It's kind of like the miners. That's why it's interesting. Like the trash floats last. Caterpillar up 8.4%. Now, a lot of people are going, well, look at China's doing this stimulus. China does endless stimuluses constantly. We'll see how it reacts. It's coming into levels. Now, if you had shorts on this thing, well, you stopped out. If you're looking again, you could argue this big zone anywhere. Watch this zone. I know it's a big range, but I'd be watching that. Arrow. Copper. You think it'd bounce more? Not really on all that news. CCJ pops up into the resistance. Nice strong pop bars, but then it's like, watch the resistance. High and tight is bullish. If it fails, be careful. Ag names have been putrid. We talked about them being oversold to bounce. Just keep an eye on them. Mosaic, same thing. NTR, same thing. They've been absolutely throttled. Do they deserve to bounce? I guess. They've been decent volumes, but again, think about new fund flows. If things get worse, remember, they're not going to be safe, in my opinion, until the Feds pivot. AA, same thing, been acting. Again, material names just been bludgeoned, so don't be surprised when they rally, right? Just don't be surprised. Just curious to look at Southern Copper, because good Southern Copper's been a big copper name leader. Yeah, that's interesting. Look at that. Gaps up, hits some resistance, and sold heavily on a Friday. Interesting. XLF, again, financials typically lead. They're playing the chop game. I know this is a gap up, but remember, February 2nd, think of the gap up trap. Feels very reminiscent. JP Morgan. Does it get up higher? It's lower highs, keeping on. I feel like you should feel good about shorting financials in this area. Just have stops. Morgan Stanley's a little more beaten down. Maybe it has a little more to rally. Goldman Sachs. It's been chopping. A lot of these names just no money. KRE, interesting. We talked about the 41.42 level. Retested, close at it. Could you get into the 43s? That's absolutely at this point. You keep people talking like Michael Berry's buying these names and all. People are trying to like pump this, and it's like sneaky. We'll see. XBI been lagging last couple days, and then rally back. Not surprised. All these names they are what they are. They don't look terrible, but keep an eye on them. Let's pull up the transports. Just shoots and giggles. Again, coming up here into this next range. Can we break out? Again, new money, new month. Could it be distributive? It's tough to know. That's why you got to just... this is where the thing is. If you're trying to look for certainty, don't trade. That's the guaranteed thing. You can't lose if you don't trade. Housing real quick. XHB. Been selling off. Nice little bounce. It seems like the 72 area, I don't think it's going to take it out. All right, let's end it with oil and gas. Now, we talked about OPEC coming to cut more. We'll see the reaction. Economic activity slowing. If you saw the ISM manufacturing, it was bad, right? Chicago PMI, bad, right? It just kind of is what it is. Now, I'm not going to say for sure that the market can't go up on bad news, but it's yikes. UNG, talked about it. Like, leave it alone. We talked about people buying it down here, and they're like, take some profits up in the 7s. Let this thing reverse split. It's just dog poo. Sorry, a lot of people don't want to hear that. XOP, nice little rally. Again, money came in. They sprinkled it everywhere. Look at this chopping. Not much. ExxonMobil, you would think, this thing would rally back 4 or 5 points on that Friday. No, it's stuck. We shorted up here. Looks good. Again, it's just chopping. Market's holding it up. PX Dizzle, 200 area has been support. Seems to be chopping. Oxy, Buffett. I think Buffett wants this thing much lower to buy more shares. Every time he buys, talk about him buying more. It's like, seems to coincide shortly a couple weeks after options expiration. He's probably buying more shares to cover calls. Keep an eye on it. EQT, talked about, oil and gas names chopping. I doubt they're going to break out the price action in nitro gas, but keep an eye on it. Last but not least, Flex LNG. We like this name because we think we're going to be big natural gas exporters in time. Congress is buying this. Has a solid 8% dividend. Again, will they throw the baby out with the bathwater? Probably. Oh, forgot solar. Oh, my bad. Almost. You thought I was. TAN. Here we go. Chopping. Nothing. ENPH. We've talked about letting this one rise before you short it, right? Here you go. Coming up. Said maybe even 190s. Like it. Sedge. If you shorted this at 310, 315, you're not surprised by the action. It can be volatile. Let it do its thing. Trade around it. First Solar. Talk about the 210 plus level. Yeah, it seems to be stuck. All these names, I think, in my mind, are just, if oil and gas are going to be chopping around, they're trading at premiums. They need to trade at discounts at some point. And so that's just kind of what it is. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Please reach out. Always here to help. Now, again, talked about real estate. Now I can talk about the property that we just listed. Did a great job on it. Now, a lot of people think that the best way to sell a house is just throw it on the MLS and hope it sticks. Yeah, that's the thing. That all the properties in the neighborhood of the house we just sold, they're all selling around ask or less. We got 10% over ask. How did we do that? Again, experience, knowing how the market works, building up anticipation, building up open houses so that when people come by, they see there's 100 people in there looking in line, doing all the things. Because even if the housing market is slowing, find a good agent. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Always here. Love to be a referral if you need help in selling your house or buying a house somewhere else, or you're investing in real estate and you're like, what do I do, Dan? What do I do? Well, guess what? I've told people this over and over. Some people have decided that they should probably buy properties now. I am waiting till the fall. I am waiting for unemployment to rise. I have no desire to buy a house personally unless I had to move, which you never know could happen if I get divorced. But at this point, with what's going on in the world, I personally would just wait to buy if you're looking to buy a house. I think you'll find better deals. If inflation kicks up, woulda, coulda, wish you coulda, woulda, coulda, shoulda. But at this point, unemployment seems to be stuck. But in my opinion, I think they're masking it. I think it's going to get worse. Let me know if you have any questions. Do not hesitate to reach out. Have a great, amazing weekend. Remember, define your risk. Have your plan. Look for repeating patterns. I'm telling you, these blow-off straight line moves with the trash catching up at the end feels very February 2nd-ish. I will talk to you guys and gals later. Peace. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.